All right, so I'm going to do a little update on the 6610 because I haven't in a while. Actually, I haven't done anything in a while pertaining to YouTube. So I figured I'd give a little update on this because there isn't much else going on. And I don't really know where to start because I've done a lot to it. I wouldn't say a lot, but fixed a lot of small problems here and there. And some other problems I still got to get to. We'll start here. You can see the oil on the side of the block. I replaced this tack cable once right after I got it because the other one was broken. And at some point, round bailing, the new tack cable I bought had bound up and snapped. It bound up right about here, snapped the cable off. Then it snapped the short tack drive cable in here. So I replaced that, put another new cable on it through A&I this time. Tack still bounces around in the cab. It's probably the gauge at this point that's going bad at almost 7,000 hours. But the A&I cable is definitely a lot better than the other one I got. I don't even know what brand it was. It wasn't New Holland because they want way too much money for these cables, and in my humble opinion, a lot of these parts are aftermarket parts that are rebadged as New Holland parts. So that's one thing. The second thing was I had to rebuild the steering spindles because this tractor had a loader on it at one point. I know these axle knees, you know, they're nice. Well, they were nice and blue, repainted. There is a bearing down in the bottom. It's about 3/4 of an inch thick. They got smashed basically from having a loader, lack of grease. You know the rest. So it ate the bottom of these out. It pretty much destroyed them. These knees were junk. So I wasn't buying cheap Chinese knockoffs. Nobody had them that I could find used that were in good shape, that didn't have the same problem. So what I ended up doing is I took them to work. My dad cut the tube off of the tube, and I put it in a lathe. Well, he welded the inside up. I put it in a lathe, bored it back out to size, jigged it back up, and welded it back in location. Did that on both sides. It worked out pretty good. As you can see, I mean, they have plenty of grease now. The 5610 had the same problem, but it wasn't nearly as bad as this one was. So there's that. I do need to rebuild the hub end with new bearings and races at some point. So that's really it for that. I mean, it did run good for round bailing. I'm pleased with the tractor itself. You can see something's a little different here. The injection pump kind of failed on me. So this tractor was surging really bad when I would, it didn't matter actually if it was an idle with no load or full throttle underload, it would surge. Which I knew it was air getting in. So I rebuilt the fuel filter head. There's olive seals, what they're called, underneath these caps. I replaced all those. Those are not cheap. I have to say that those are not cheap. I replaced all that, you know, rebuilt everything in here. New fuel line from the tank up. And still surged. So at this point, and the previous owner stripped out the drain on this one. Not available, this lower piece for the glass separator. So I ended up tapping it for an 1/8 inch pipe plug, putting an 1/8 inch pipe plug on it. New seal here. So I ended up, I could not get the parts for my old Cav Lucas pump. They were going to be on back order till mid-September at the earliest. which wasn't going to work for me. So I found a place out of Maryland that actually had new old stock pumps. This pump was about $1,500, I think. It's allegedly brand new. I can't really attest to that. It's actually for a 6810, which is a detuned 7610. Different number. The 6610 later in life became a 6410. So theoretically, this pump is larger. I cannot testify if it makes more or less horsepower. It's what was readily available and actually what I could find. It feels like it makes a little more power actually, but without putting it on a dyno, can't say for sure. So that's pretty much that for that. I upgraded to a 7-blade fan. The fan's from Sparex. Of course, I had the oddball where the later years you could have a viscous clutch or a solid mounted fan hub. I had the solid mounted fan hub, but it has the larger center for the viscous fan. So the 7-blade fan wasn't easy to find per se, but it was pretty easy to find. Just there's not that many options available. But it had a 3-blade on it. It would get warm round bailing because it would not move that much air. So I took the radiator and the cooler out, took them, steamed them out, cleaned all the fins and stuff out. It runs a lot cooler now. So that's pretty much it for that. I don't know if I said fixed the exhaust and what. Replaced or got a new plastic spacer for the air cleaner, or a pre-cleaner pre-cleaner. Had a brain fart there. As you can see, it's pretty dusty at this point. It does do its job. I'll start it up. It does lope. I do need to adjust the timing a little bit on the pump, on the cover. But it's not really a big deal. If you bump it up to like 1100 RPM, it'll smooth right out. And when it's warm, it runs smooth. The only other thing I really got to fix, and I do remember a while ago it being said, you need to split the tractor. This gasket here is leaking pretty decently, so I do need to repair that. But like I said, I vaguely recall you can't just pull that off. The book isn't much help. But I'll fire it up and pretty much conclude this. Like I said, I don't know the last time I updated on this thing. Dual power works good. I got all the gauges and stuff working also. But you can see what I was saying, how it lopes, but it does clear up. So, yeah, that's pretty much the update from here. Been working on the 8700 also. 9700, one working slowly at that. I also replaced the front badge in the front. These are cheaper through Ford than they are through New Holland. I will say that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.